This is a little clip from our stream with Ollie Kenchington on Canon's C300 MKIII and specifically their DGO technology. We asked Ollie what the DGO technology was, what it actually meant for image quality, and how he was looking forward to it making changes within his own work.
One of the most exciting things about DGO is the fact that it's sensor level technology. It's not happening as a post process. And it's not often really that happens. If you look at a lot of developments in image quality over recent years, they are computational advancements. They're not, it's very rare you have sensor level, silicon level advancements to this kind of degree. I wanted to see, if I'm shooting RAW, I was very used to with the C200 accepting that I'm going to end up with a noisy image, not because the camera's noisy or the sensor's noisy, just simply because with a raw recording, there's no internal noise reduction applied at all. And I think people forget too easily that when you're not shooting RAW, whatever the codec is, whatever the camera is, there's a lot of internal post-processing of the image once it's debayered internally, before it's compressed, that's all to try and make the most of your image, to make it look as good as possible. You know, whether that's downsampling from a 4K sensor to an HD image internally, or whether it's noise reduction, there are these processes that are going on to give you the best image possible. When you're shooting RAW, that's all taken away. That's all moved into post-production, and that's then on you to make those image adjustments and make that look the best it can. And that includes not just color grading, but noise reduction, possibly sharpening. There's any number of different things that you then have to do that the camera's not doing internally.
So and when you were shooting with the C200 in RAW and stuff, like normally on your actual projects, how much of this were you actually doing? Were you adding noise reduction? Were you adding sharpening, all the rest of it?
Yeah, so not so much sharpening actually, but definitely noise reduction. I would say that with our C200, when we shoot RAW, I end up probably applying noise reduction 85% of the time. It's the majority of the time, as I say, not because it's a noisy camera, far from it, just because it's that internal noise reduction has not been taking place. And, we use Neat Video. That's absolutely stunning results. If you have a choice and you have the computational kind of power, you've got a computer fast enough to kind of crunch those numbers and render out in a reasonable time frame, then why wouldn't you? It makes the image look better. But what's interesting about this test and this comparison between the two is dual gain output, because it is separately taking the two streams. Essentially, it's taking the high luminance and high saturation component within the image, and it's taking and then it's then separately amplifying the low level, the low luminance, and where the noise floor is, parts of the signal, and it's separately amplifying those. So it's treating them both is optimized for one thing. So it's treating them in a clever way that gives you the best of those kind of two ends of the luminance spectrum there, before recombining them and sending them out. And because that's happening at the sensor level, you're going to benefit from that, whether you're shooting RAW or XFABC or anything else. So that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to know just how excited is this? How cool is this going to be for future productions in terms of worrying about applying noise reduction to the raw stuff? And I would say, based on those results that people can download and see for themselves, that I reckon a percentage of time that we'll end up applying noise reduction to cinema raw light files from a C300 MKIII is going to be much, much lower. Whereas it's 85% with the C200, I reckon that would easily drop to about 20% of the time.